You can make space disappear. In fact, when you cloak an object, if the cloak's good enough, you're making space disappear. Not that physically disappear, but you won't be able to touch it unless you opened up the cloak. So in all purposes, it's vanished. And the reason I say this is because with my light interface concept, the space is concealed in between the outer shell and the light interface inside. And what you're seeing there inside the breakaway view of the interface is the outside world, its local environment. You've made space disappear. You don't make the object disappear itself per se. You make the whole space that it rests in disappear. It goes into that gray area in between the outer shell and the inner interface. And, at any given intersection of our visual reality, that's where space can be potentially made disappear. The spherical inward-outward radiation of light at its visual intersection is also what makes complete televisual portal teleportation possible. And an extended Landar's principle is Landar's bound to space itself, the principle of conservation of information. Wherever space itself disappears, it must reappear somewhere else. And if you wanted to show somebody your local environment, you can televise with just one light interface system, But for telepresence of another person, you need at least, I typically think of these as fully wraparound donuts, these light interface systems. And the hole or the eye is inside the inner interface. So if that's one genus, this is three genus. And combined together, this televisual portal mirror world topology is a recursive chain of dual televisual mirror worlds, three apiece, recycling into each other in this scheme that you see going down from 1 to 2 to 3. Primary holodeck, the virtual negatives, and the secondary holodecks and the televised virtual positives back to the primary holodecks of each other. This is how a televisual portal mirror world topology would work. And I believe when cosmic portal technologies are perfected, you could actually disappear from anywhere and travel to Los Angeles, for example, and actually arrive there in our very own reality. I also believe that we will be able to travel to the past, ours or elsewhere. And the reason I say this, I need to drop this down, because in the ideal artificial teleportation replication, many worlds in the Quilted multiverse are one. Artificial teleportation, if you scanned yourself in 2023 and exited in 2023, there's a chance, if you had it programmed to replicate and exit in 2073, 50 years from now, equal outcomes are possible. And that goes along with trapping free will in a mirror symmetrical room. You are the very same you in all perfectly identical configurations of matter out in the infinite space of the Quilted multiverse hypothesis, which has the same many worlds universal wave function. Both you can call yourself the real person, the mirror world, the many worlds in the Quilted universe. And the multiverse may or may not be a bubbling disorder, but it can still be mapped by entanglement to the individual universes that are nearest to the particular configuration in its own realm of reality. So this is a map of series and parallel universes. And only by knowing what I believe to be a complete invisible holographic dictionary of the quantum code to reality is how you might safely travel between destinations. These are flow of probable quantum worlds, or quantum worlds in the flow of time. And I believe that no matter how far apart they are, or they can always be mapped to a closeness by way of entanglement to the nearest likely configuration of events. And this shows that you can exist in a virtual realm that is perfectly modeled out in infinite space, or is modeled in the many worlds. They're both the same thing. They're a quilted part of the identical part of our universe with the same universal wave function. I believe it's one universe, but it's universes stacked together in a superposition universal wave function. And so once again, the present and the past you could actually travel to, because you can make space invisible and you can teleport space eventually along with people or occupants through this mirror world topology. Extended Landar's principle. Landar is bound to space itself, the information of space. It's not quite teleportation, but it's artificial teleportation, which ideally would be able to make all this possible. This is ideal artificial teleportation, many worlds in the Quilted multiverse.